none of you have asked me this question, but I frequently ask this question to myself. Is it ethical to persuade people now? I wish Rintu was here always. But Rintu had some really good takes on this, and he would always be able to explain to you the ethical side of persuasion and why learning about persuasion, his book was called the Persuasion Skills Black Book, is important. Now, I love this guy. He's a guy called Blair Warren, and he's got this little book. It's an ebook. You can buy it on Kindle, and it's like about £3 or something. It's tiny. It takes about 10 minutes to read. Minimum valuable asset book, by the way. And his thing is people will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. Let's break it down a little bit. So encourage dreams. So we've been looking at encouraging dreams. We've been looking at what's the A to B transformations. We've been looking at encouraging dreams. We've been looking at justifying their failures. We've been their constraints and objections, like I've tried this and I've done this and it's never worked before. We justifying their failures, not in a it's okay to fail, don't worry about it, because obviously that's important too, but in a you may have failed because you didn't know this way and I've got a special way to show you. You're going to allay, you've been on your assets, on your TLC, on your thought leadership canvas, you have been collecting ways to allay their fears and give them confidence that that there is a way forward, okay, so that they can get the solution they're looking for. You've been confirming their suspicions. You'll be saying, you want this, and you're here right now and you want this. You're not alone. So you've been confirming their suspicions that that they are special, but they're not alone in the world. Yeah. And the throw rocks at the enemies one, that was the one with this phrase. I love his sentence there, and I think it's a really cool sentence to keep in mind. But always the throw rocks at enemies. I've never really been a throw rocks at enemies type person. And then I thought, well, actually, I have a bit, because if the enemy is inside, then we can throw rocks at that enemy. Let's just splat that enemy into next year. So if the enemy is inside, that makes me feel more comfortable with this and this ethical persuasion idea. Now, I think, well, is it ethical? Is it ethical to persuade people? Well, when we use the thought leadership someone else's teeth today, thought leadership canvas, we've been thinking about what's their most wanted response. We haven't only been thinking about ours. We've been thinking about them. Thought leadership canvas, TLC, stands for Tender Loving Care too. I started the TLC club, Tender Loving Care Club, in 1997 with local businesses. TLC has been one of my things the whole of my life, so that's why I deliberately called it Thought Leadership Canvas.